are you saying no more singles golds for his career?
Ben's not winning another singles gold the rest of his career. He's not going to win one in 2026, and he's not going to play singles 2027 and beyond. The game has passed Ben by when it comes to singles. He's good enough to compete, not good enough to win.
Man, Nico's coming in hot on his second PicklePod episode. So tell me about how the weight loss is going and how Merrick Health is helping with that for you, Nico.
Yeah, as we know, I've got that, Operation 55, trying to drop 55 pounds. And there's so many different places to start, right? From like what my diet should be or what the vitamins I should be taking are, what does my testosterone look like? How can I become leaner without just taking anabolic steroids? And I think I'm past the prime of taking steroids. So looking at better ways to be healthy. And so I actually just had a meeting. So I have this like assigned coach with Merrick Health, and they had me take a blood draw. They went through different recommendations, and then they connect me with like a health provider. And so I had a call this week with this health provider and my health coach, and the three of us went together and we talked about what I can do to really reach my goals, and realize that some things were kind of out of my control, right? So it's like, hey, Nico, you're vitamin D deficient, right? So you should be taking, a specific vitamin. And so many people, they just like, they're like, oh, I need to be healthy. I'm gonna take a multivitamin and protein, right? And like, multivitamin is like the ultimate way I feel like of expensive pee, as a Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory would say. But when you actually have a blood test, you see what you're deficient in, and then you take vitamins or supplements specifically
for that, right?
for you. Yeah, exactly. So I feel confident. So I placed the order. It's going to arrive here in the next 2 weeks, and then going to take it, see how I feel. And then I'm going to meet with this health coach once a month, figure out how I'm at. And then at 3 months, we're going to go through blood work again, get more kind of review my health, and then see like actual change. Like, it's not just about what's on the scale, because like, honestly, that's probably like the least important thing. It's just like, how does your body feel? Are you reacting the right way? And like, do some of these things help not just in losing weight, but give you more sleep, make you feel more energized? I have a 10-month-old daughter, and I'm like, for me, not only do I want to be healthy on the pickleball court, but I want to be able to like run around with her all the time. And so this is helping me, and I'm excited. So I haven't had a chance to actually take any of these supplements. So right now it's just all positive vibes, but looking forward to it, and excited to get on the health journey. If anybody's interested in doing the same thing, getting like actual targeted advice, get a health coach, get a medical professional telling you what to do and holding your hand along the way, just go to merrickhealth.com.
Sweet. Well, we'll keep up to date with how the vitamins are going.
That's right. Nico, vitamin D deficient. Getting the big D soon. Hey guys, welcome to the PicklePod. Now, before we have Zane jump on here and inevitably say a bunch of nice things about how my first episode on the podcast went, I want to get on here and talk to you guys about the Dink Awards powered by 120 Life. Now, there are a ton of different categories, and our guy Zane is nominated in like half of them, from YouTuber of the Year to Most Influential Voice to Best Instructor, I think, as well as Best Podcast with a PicklePod. Zane can pretty much like run the table on half of these awards. And while you'll never hear me ever tell him that he's good at any of this stuff, he's actually probably pretty talented. So feel free to vote for our guy Zane, vote for our podcast, vote for your favorites, all right? Your guy Nico is here, Content Creator of the Year. I'm going up against little-known content creator Anna Bright, who is not only world-class at pickleball, but also at content creation. It's honestly not fair. It's relatively upsetting. My own wife enjoys her content more than mine, but feel free to vote for me. Let's see if we can get a underdog Rudy story, or you could say vote for the worst and vote for me too. Let's pull off that upset. But at least what you guys got to do is check out the Viral Moments of the Year award. All right, there's like 10 different options, and if you haven't seen them, just like Google search them. They have a guy who gets kicked in the freaking head after a pickleball match. There's our guy Thomas Shields trying to play singles against Anna Bright, which we knew was how that was going to end before it started. Got a nasty Nelson at the end of a match point at the U.S. Open Finals. You got Hayden cussing out his new Franklin teammate, Anna Leigh Waters. NSFW right there. Andre Agassi playing in the US Open. You got a rapper beating multiple one seeds. You got Zane 4 trying to smash a paddle repeatedly and failing, which was hilarious, so much so that TMZ picked it up. You got our guy, goat of pickleball, Ben Johns, trying to decapitate another pickleball player. And by the way, the best part about the Ben Johns on Wang Yun decapitation attempt is that Ben, who has a company, Pickleball 360, in their advertisements, it's got a picture of the windup of that shot. Like, if you know, you know, great marketing there. But he almost ended the life of another pickleball player. And you even got a guy that's blowing the ball over with air. Which if that happened to me, I don't know what I would do. So viral moment of the year, fantastic category to start at. Check out the rest of them, the 120 Life Dink Awards. And guys, if you haven't checked out our sponsor, 120 Life, I highly suggest you do. If you use the code DINK, you're going to get 20% off and free shipping. It's 120life.com. The number is 120life.com. And they have drink powders as well as juice that help support healthy blood flow, antioxidants, liver health. And if you don't like it, they got a 2-week money-back guarantee, but they guarantee that your numbers are going to improve. So check it out. Tastes great. Works for your health. 120 Life. Dink Awards. Go vote.
Pickleballers, Nike has officially entered the chat. Today, Anna Leigh Waters announced her partnership with Nike. And I know what you're thinking. Who cares what an 18-year-old girl is wearing? Well, there is way more to it than that, and I think it's far more noteworthy than even her Franklin paddle deal. I'll explain what this means for Anna Leigh, what this means for pickleball, tell you the one person that's actually happier about this deal than Anna Leigh Waters, and debate who the face of our sport really is at this point. So, first, Anna Leigh Waters breaks out of pickleball and into greater pop culture. Everyone and their mom plays pickleball, but far fewer actually follow the pro game, and even fewer follow me. I'm here to keep you up to date with the pro pickleball game and help you get better at pickleball, so help me help you and follow the channel. Nike and Anna Leigh are going to be the much-needed bridge between casual pickleball players and pro consumers. In the pickleball world, we know about Anna Leigh's dominance, but the Gen Pop doesn't. Nike will tell the world the legitimately insane story that we all take for granted at this point. The story of how a teenage girl became the most dominant player pickleball has ever seen and undoubtedly will ever see, all before the age of 18 years old. I guarantee that this signing comes with a massive press tour as well, and this brings an entirely new level of credibility to our sport. Also, Nike opens the floodgates for other massive sponsorships. Watches, airlines, banks, cars, insurance, lifestyle, fintech, and pretty much anything and everything in between. And that's for both athletes and the tour. So there's nobody happier right now than Connor Pardoe, not even Anna Leigh. I'm sure Anna Leigh is getting paid nicely, but the deal is almost certainly about the exposure and elevation that Nike can bring rather than the money. Nike's the official clothing brand of the NBA, NFL, MLB, and pretty much everything else, and they're not going to have Anna Leigh playing on PPA Center Court with an Adidas logo all over the place. That means dollar signs for the PPA. Skechers is the official footwear sponsor of the PPA, and Black Clover is the official apparel. I played on the PPA tour for 3 years, and I've never heard of Black Clover. I don't know. So, come on, don't you guys think that a Nike swoosh through the kitchen would be pretty iconic? Next, Nike is actually known for their grassroots effort. They sponsor schools, nonprofits, community programs, and help fund facilities all over the world. I'm sure that a good chunk of change is going to go towards pickleball efforts as well. In fact, they do already have Nike Park, one of the first pro tournaments in Chicago. And of course, they're going to be releasing pickleball-specific categories. They have some pickleball shoes, but I'm certain they're going to dive deeper into clothing. But in the meantime, I do love my move stuff. I think you will too if you give it a shot. Check out the link in my bio to save some money on that. So now for the big question. Who's the face of our sport? Anna Leigh signing with Nike helps her transcend pickleball into pop culture. So I'd have to say it's pretty clearly Anna Leigh Waters over Ben Johns at this point, but I'm curious to hear if you have a differing opinion. Anyway, congrats to Anna Leigh, congrats to Nike, congrats to their agency, Vayner Sports, and more than anything, congrats to pickleball. This is another incredible step in the rise of the sport that we all love, pickleball to the moon.
Well, Nico, we're back. You survived the audition. How was your first week as a co-host of PicklePod 2.0?
Oh, I loved it. My mom told me I did a fantastic job. My wife, my kids loved it.
She told me
overall,
that too.
like, oh my gosh, we're starting right there. Wow, I can't avoid this, but I think it was good, Zane. Stop talking to my mom.
Well, you may have thought it was good, but we have a lot of comments we got to go through. All right. First and foremost, this guy, Connor Pardo _ PB, just says Tice greater than Nico.
Sounds like a clown. Never heard of him.
Jimmy Miller says, I'm kind of shocked by this. I thought Zane wanted to start being taken serious. Tice brings legit credibility. Nico brings, yeah, not really sure. Maybe Zane was tired of not being the smartest one in the room. He solved that problem. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny.
Oh my. Good job, Jimmy. You got a good jab in there, I don't know.
Who do you think wins in a fist fight between you and Jimmy?
Oh, me for sure. I mean, I not only do I think I'm stronger and bigger than Jimmy, I'm not sure how big Jimmy is height-wise. I think I got the reach. I'm like a solid 280. Like, I'm not a small dude. And I remember distinctly one time you and Thomas talking about fights and how you said you're a runner. And so I think as much as you see lack of mobility by me, I think not only am I stronger, but I'm also faster. So I think no contest. But I will say if he gets one punch in, full strength, both cheeks into it, I'm probably screwed.
I'd agree with that. He gets you to the ground, you're toast.
Oh, yeah.
We got more. Don't worry. We've got more.
Okay.
By the way, we're going to make this beef happen. I think Nico versus Jimmy is the beef that we've actually been needing.
Dude, I have more to say about Jimmy in just a second, but I'm excited to hear all these other positive
perfect.
comments.
All right. Well, Hope Klein just says he's an idiot. Bad choice, Zane. All right. Didn't leave too much for the
That's a
imagination.
roast on you too, man.
Mostly you, but like slightly me. This one's just more creative. MJ Nobles 8836 on YouTube says Nico looks like a long lost Osmond brother.
That sounds like a compliment, right?
I don't exactly know.
I'm taking all of these as compliments somehow.
Tim Powers 8337 just says I agree with Zane and Miko, which I just thought was funny. Like, no idea what the person's referring to.
Yeah, and when I was like in second grade, Pocahontas came out, and the raccoon's name was Miko, and everybody just thought that was me. But that's the only other Miko I've ever heard of. But yeah, I mean, I guess good job them.
Sportsfan 8866 says Zane trying hard to put this Nico guy over. Not sure if I'm buying it.
Yeah, Zane's a tryhard, but got nothing. I got nothing.
All right, don't worry, we got more. Jimmy Miller says that Nico is a cringe gimmick. I'm not sure I should watch anymore. That was A Jones 68, and we can call that person out because they're not watching anymore.
Oh, did they say they're not watching it? Yeah, if Daddy Jimmy tells his followers to do something, they're gonna fall in line. I guess I don't know, but I think it's really embarrassing comment by that person, A Jones or whoever they are.
Hey, look, I caught the wrath of the sorry not sorry crowd for a little bit. I didn't even do anything, so I know how that goes when you get somebody else calling you out. And we'll get to me calling some people out a little bit later. But
Zane, I went on the Sorry Not Sorry podcast once, or not went on it. I went to listen to it once. And I also found myself getting roasted for like a solid 20 minutes on that podcast. We get to the end and he wants to play a game with me. I've never played the game because I've never watched even one episode of Sorry Not Sorry until the episode where he decides to blast my content for like a solid 10 minutes. And, so he's made public enemy number one of my wife. And, if you think that this bothers me, like it really doesn't. But my wife has like this hit list of people that she's ready to destroy. She's got 16 followers, so huge audience. But beware, Chris, beware, Jimmy, A. Jones, whatever that person's name is, you're on the list.
Wow. Okay. So, I mean, hey, if you're not pissing some people off, you're not doing something right? So, I don't know. I thought it was a successful first week of the PicklePod. I had a good time.
Yeah, me too. And I'm looking forward to a long run and even more haters. But I will say there's probably some positive comments in there somewhere. I don't know. I think you might have cherry picked all the best.
Focus on the the nonsense just to roast you a little bit. But honestly, I would say like it was probably 75-25 on YouTube comments and all that. Twitter hates you.
Twitter, yeah. At this point, like I am dead to the Twitter world. Because I am not a super nerd, I think is the problem. Is like what's amazing is like I'm a relatively normal dude, but to Twitter I'm like the biggest bro ever. I'm not exactly sure why, but that's the brand I get. Only negative comments on Pickleball Twitter. Millennial gym class, irrelevant bro, loser, massive L, whatever you name it. But that's why I'm gonna stick to YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and just like Matty Pickles, I'm out on Pickleball Twitter.
I do feel like Pickleball Twitter and just Twitter in general is about dunking on people. It's like it's just got to be the social media where you just dunk on people the most. Like it's just like, can you just make somebody else look bad? If so, you get likes.
100%, 100%. And I think I'm surprised that like Pickleball Instagram is like a lot of uplifting stuff. Like I'm like, oh wow, these are really supportive comments every time I post. And then, yeah, Pickleball Twitter is to make other people look stupid, make yourself look smart. But you can only make yourself look smart by making other people look stupid. So it's definitely a zero sum game in Pickleball Twitter.
Fair enough. Well, before we alienate every one of our audience, we should probably talk about some pickleball at some point. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got the yearly over-under bets that our boy T-Dog, High T, put together. We're going to go through a bunch of those takes and debate some of them. We will we'll talk about the Masters first tournament of the year. We'll do some blind rankings. We'll explain to you what we want for Guess My Duper to revitalize that segment. And then, of course, the legendary segment that we all know from the one time we've done it so far, but we'll continue to do it all the time, the pickleball court. Am I the asshole? So, Nico, kick us off.
All right. So first off, Zane, I just want to say like I'm a little disappointed that you guys did not win Podcast of the Year. Golden Globes hosted they were hosted I think yesterday or this past week, and Amy Poehler won. So work to do, goals for next year. We still have the Dink Awards. Did you even know, by the way, that there was a Podcast of the Year award in the Golden Globes? Brand new.
No, but I've never heard of Good Hang win. Good Hang. Never heard of it.
Never heard of Good. You know,
There's a lot.
neither had I. I have heard of Amy Poehler because I've
Yeah,
watched Parks and Rec
Parks and Rec, right?
repeatedly. Fantastic. But, goals next time, but we still have the Dink Awards, so more prestigious in the pickleball world than the Golden Globes. All right. So back to pickleball. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do some yearly over-under bets. All right. So some of this is inspired by the great Eric Tice. Looked at some of his 26 predictions for 2026, which were fantastic. It's a great read. I don't know how you write so much, but we're going to take a few, and then I also added a few of my own in here. All right. So this is going to be for 2026, specifically PPA events. All right. This has nothing to do with MLP. So when we talk about win-losses, we're only talking about PPA. And the first one, I actually don't think this is one of Eric's over-unders, but got to ask you, all right, number of Anna Bright mixed partners. Last year, she had 9. This year, over-under is set for 6.5. What are you taking?
Wow. I'm going under on that, on 6.5.
Under. So she's going to go from 9 to under 7.
I'd put the over-under at 4.5 this year. I think that
she's already announced 3 partners, 3 different partners.
Yeah, exactly. How many else are going to sneak in there?
I don't know. It's like she's got Hayden, Gabe, and Ben. Not even Andre on the list.
No, she has. I thought she had Hayden, Andre, and Ben.
Oh, maybe it's Hayden. Hayden, Andre, and Ben.
Yeah,
no Gabe.
I'm sure there'll probably be like 1 or 2. I would think that the over/under is 5, and 5's a push for this year. And I would take the under on that. But what I'm curious about, right? What I'm curious about is when you're somebody who's had a bunch of partners, right? At what point are you the problem, right? At what point is like, oh, this person can't hold on to a partner? How high of a body count is too high of a body count with partners?
Yeah, I think for Anna, she is like one of the few people where she could probably have like the largest body count you could imagine, and people are still gonna just kind of be line up to be her partner. But I think at some point it becomes a problem. I think that the hard thing is like, usually you can go down, it sounds like, and basically pick almost anybody and be like, I want you, right? Like, who cares who I've been with before? But if you're even somewhat on the same level, like, why would you leave your good thing, long-term existing partnership to go play with Anna Bright or to go play with somebody that's at your level? Like, for example, if Anna Bright asks Gabe Tardio to go play this year, Gabe just decided, he's going to go play with Catherine Parento. Do you think he's going to say, yeah, I'll go play with you? Or do you think at this point he's like loyalty to Catherine?
I think pre-season, I think you can maybe finagle your way out of it. Or I'd say that's like kind of how it has been done previously. Yeah, there's some finagling that can be done there.
I mean, I guess Gabe literally did that last year to Andre. He was like, oh, Ben, okay, bye.
Yeah, there was some finagling.
So, or was it JW? I think JW.
That's right. It was JW. Yeah.
So
it was supposed to be JW. But it was kind of like Andre kind of got the short end of the stick too because they had a good 2024 together. Yeah. So I don't know. I think she goes with Hayden, Andre, Ben. I I liked the CJ Klinger play too, but they didn't do
I
amazing.
did too.
But I like.
She specifically said she doesn't like playing with lefties, and
Oh, so she is the
so
problem. Exactly. She could grow up. She needs to
she's
grow
the
up.
problem. It's not CJ Klinger, so that's for sure. It's never CJ
Wow.
Klinger.
What a diva. I don't like playing
I
with
know, right?
lefties.
Now, Zane, here's the question: Is over under? Are you going to have more mixed doubles partners than Anna Bright?
Probably, yeah. Um,
But not for the same reason.
but not for the same
Not by
same
choice.
reason. Fair enough. No, I think at this point, I just enjoy playing with people who are good vibes. Excited to play some with Lina. I'm playing a few with Elsie Hendershot, who is the 12-year-old, maybe 13 now. So we got some coming up. Playing in Asia too, so I feel like that you've got to kind of mix up the partners when you go over there. But I might take the greater than Anna Bright amount of partners.
Okay, I like it. I think I saw that you played in like 12 PPA mixed events last year, and so that's like one every two events to beat Anna Bright. All right, I like it. So you're going under with probably 5. I'm going over. All right, mark that down. All right, we'll
Yeah.
check. We'll check back in 12 months. The next one we got here is Ben John's singles gold. So this is specifically from Eric Tice. Eric says that Ben is not going to win a singles gold this year in 2026. So the over under is 0.5.
Oh man, that's a spicy take because I would say if Ben played every singles tournament, he would definitely get one. However, we've seen him play fewer and fewer singles tournaments over the past bit of time. I think he skipped like 4 or 5 of them in a row at one point last year, right? So I s- hmm, I think he makes a run. I think he gets one this year, but if he plays everything, he gets one. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I'm gonna say he plays a lot, gets one.
But look, guess one. All right, give me the tournament. I want you to call your shot right now. What
Oh, I
tournament is he
can call
winning?
the shot? What are you
You
talking
got
about?
this.
I can't call the shot. I don't know. PPA Challenger, Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
PPA Ben Johns 2027 PPA Challenger Triple Crown winner. No, so I'm taking the under. I agree with Eric. I think he's not winning. Look, Ben is not playing the Masters. So I don't know
Oh,
about any
okay.
Ben Johns injury, but this is a slam first tournament of the year after a month off and he's not playing. So
That's
I
a good
think
call.
I think that you're toast on this bet. I'm going to go one further and say 2026 is the last year that Ben plays singles.
Mm. I mean, I think that's realistic. Play singles regularly would be like a thing. Like, I think everybody might come back for a one-off singles sort of deal. But are you saying no more singles golds for his career?
Ben's not winning another singles gold the rest of his career. He's not playing and winning, or he's not going to win one in 2026, and he's not going to play singles 2027 and beyond. The game has passed Ben by when it comes to singles. He's good enough to compete, not good enough to win. So I
Man,
think he
that's a
understands riding out on the sunset in a blaze of glory, I guess.
man. Nico's coming in hot on his second PicklePod episode.
Making friends. Jimmy's my best friend, and now Ben Johns is going to love me too. Mark that. Zane says he's going to win one more. I got 0 golds for Ben. Eric, 2. All right, 2-1. We'll see what happens. All right. Next one is this is from the minds of Nico the Lefty here is number of contracts terminated in 2026. I got the over under at 1.5. Last year we had 3 or was it 4? I don't remember if Kwang, I think Kwang was also the
Yeah,
beginning of last year.
Guang Yun. He was like mid last year, and then we had Gloss. So we had 4. We had 4 last
4.
year. I'd put it at well. First off, I think the player everything is pretty clear right now. What you can, what you can't do, and I think players are a little bit scared, right? Like they don't want to mess up. They don't want to get their contracts terminated. I'd say the the rules are clearer and the contracts are closer to the end, right? So like if you terminate an Ignatowicz, you can not pay him for this entire year. But what would be the point of terminating somebody else in August of this upcoming year? You take the PR hit for it, and you don't even save too much money. So I just don't know if there's an incentive too much to do it.
So you're saying that last year the PPA was incentivized to terminate James Ignatowicz, Vivian Glassman, and Ryan Fu.
Yeah, well, they save a little bit more money.
All right. But this year, we're going under 1.5. Is that your pick?
I'll take the under.
All right. This is where we agree. I think I'm taking the under as well. I agree there was incentive to terminate. I think that's going away. I think they probably will terminate one person, just some kind of breach of, poor behavior, something. Pickleball is so new and it still has kind of some of that WWE vibes to it. And so somebody might just be a pain in the ass and not worth it. But I'm going under. So I'm taking one person. All right. So we're all in agreement there. Zane, I do have a question here for you, though, that the people want to know. Can you help reverse a termination with your role with the UPA or PPA? Zane, actually, can you explain? Your role is president of the what?
So yeah, I'm president of the UPA Players Association. Basically, I mean, we are an advisory board to the UPA, meaning like, we give our 2 cents on things, and we were able to negotiate for some pretty good stuff during like the fall, where we were talking about the renegotiations. So we did have a nice impact there. However, we don't actually have like insight into individual contracts. I just can't imagine the players would want us to see what's in their contract, and I don't want to deal with the specifics of people's contracts. So like, we don't have anything to do with that. I mean, they've asked me.
So
I've said like, hey, you should go do the whatever arbitration clause is probably in your contract. Like, but we did actually create this thing called the fining committee, which is designed to protect against something like this. So it's Elise Jones, it's Connor Ogden, and it's an independent person, which is Steve Deacon. And so basically right now they're going through the UPA player handbook and outlining the different fines for any violation of the rules, essentially. And so that committee should basically vote on whether a player is innocent or guilty in things moving forward, outside again of like specifics of contracts.
okay, this is good. This is good to know because I remember on a couple podcasts ago you said, "Oh, uh, you know, they're going to file an appeal, but it's like filing an appeal to your parents who punished you."
Yeah.
And I think it's good if some way there's a committee that you can actually file either the appeal to, or you can look back in terms of like rules so you can understand like, oh, hey, this is why this happened. And Zane, this is your committee is an advisor. You're the president of an advisory board for the UPA, which is different than I believe Tina Pisnick is also the president of like another committee. So like my understanding is like in the office where Angela is like in charge of the party planning committee, and then like Meredith is in charge of the committee to plan parties. Like, is that what that's like? Like, what is Tina doing? What's that group doing?
That's an external association, right? So I don't think that the UPA recognizes them. They're trying to recruit players to, join their deal, and put external pressure on the UPA to do some of these things. Whereas, we put some element of internal pressure on them
All
to
right,
do things, right?
Zane Company man, big pickle, just like Jimmy told me.
Very,
All
very
right, no, this is helpful to know for me and for the people. I
It's
think, and I think
confusing. It is very confusing. That's very much inside baseball type stuff.
well, all that matters to me is that, when these players get their contracts terminated, they have some kind of either place to go to or rules to look at, and it's not just like a hand of God saying, "Here's your punishment." Um, so, all right. Well, great explanation, Zane. Thank you so much. I'm so much more enlightened. Eventually, I will be the smartest person in the room.
Well, Jimmy
um,
says he couldn't be dumber, so that's good.
yeah, exactly. And I'm not going to
He
tell
might have said that.
anybody
I
what
just
we're.
assume he would say something like that, so forgive me.
Oh, he probably did. I don't know if it's between, closed doors or not, or maybe just directly on his podcast. He did tell me I need to spend more time with my family, which my family said no. Um, all right. So moving on to the next over under bet, we have number of titles between Jack Sock and Jeannie Bouchard. So Eric said that they would each win a title this year. I, though, have the over under at 0.5 again. I have no faith that they are going to win a title. I think Jack has a better shot than Jeannie, but I'm going to say 0 titles between them.
I mean, when I saw this, I was about to snap fold, like, yeah, there's no way. But Jack is still getting better, and he had a good second half to the year. Jeannie could only ever do it at a tournament that, like, I just can't see her beating Anna Leigh. I could see her making a bunch of finals, right? So, uh, I'll call a Jack Sock breakthrough and win a tournament this year. He's working on his game, it seems like. He's developing that two-handed backhand, which he never had in tennis. So, yeah, I'm going with a win for Jack this year.
All right, I like it. It sounds like Jack putting in more work for pickleball than he ever did in tennis. Sounds like pickleball, saying I hear, is harder than tennis because you need a two-handed backhand to win. In tennis, you can completely avoid a fundamental shot and still be successful.
Yeah, you rephrased it perfectly.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, so I'm interested here. I had put like, look, I actually don't think a top 20 tennis player is going to win a PPA gold in the next 5 years.
Wow,
And
that's a
yeah,
hot take. A top 20 tennis player, like a tennis player that was top 20 at any point?
at any point,
Yeah,
Jack,
actually, I would
Donald
say
Young,
you've got a much better chance of somebody who's never reached the top 100, right? Like those ladies we talked about. I think somebody who's number 100 through 300 win several titles. That's gonna be the next wave, in my opinion. That and like the children. But you know what? Actually, the more success you've had in pickleball, reaching that top 20 or even top 100, I would say, the less likely you are to have that success, I think, in pickleball, interestingly. So I would agree with that, with the possible exception of one from Jack.
Jack Sock. All right. I agree. I think he's the last hope for kind of pro tennis breakthrough because I think pickleball is getting hard enough and differentiating enough, even though people call it mini tennis, that the breakthroughs are all going to be coming from people that grow up playing pickleball and not playing tennis. I think that Anna Leigh Waters is so good because she played pickleball pretty much her whole, since she was 10 or however old, and so I don't think tennis players are going to be able to compete with that, come in and in 6 months, win. Like even like a Carlos Alcaraz. In 5 years, if Carlos Alcaraz decides to go play pickleball, I still think whoever the number one men's pickleball player is going to beat him for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, and I would just think that, like, the better of tennis, somebody who's reached the top in tennis just generally isn't gonna grind the way that they are going to need to in pickleball. Like, why would you? You've made your millions, like, this is just a thing for fun. And then generally also, like, if you've made the top 30, you're gonna play out your entire career in tennis. You're not retiring until you're 32, 33, or just done with it, right? And so
Yeah,
by that time, you're not in your peak athletic prime. So I think that's a pretty reasonable thing. You could say somebody who's top 30 will never win a PPA title.
that's right. Tennis is dead when it comes to pickleball. Mini
You
tennis,
do such a good job of really helping the audience understand what I'm trying to say, Nico. Thank you.
exactly. I am the Zane whisperer, or the Zane translator. Uh, all right. So Zane, the next one is the last over under we have, and that is total number of losses for Anna Leigh Waters. We have the over under at 6.5.
Oh, man. That's a tough one. I mean, I feel like I know that pickleball I know that things are getting more competitive across all of the divisions, but I still think she's super dominant, and she's playing with Anna Bright. I think they've figured that out more. I don't see which pairing in mixed regularly, you know, beats her and Ben. And then I think she plays a dominant singles year as well. Maybe she loses a singles match or two. I'm gonna go under. Maybe that's wild. But then again, maybe she's playing with a shit paddle, and there's some issues there, right? It's crazy to say that it's crazy to say that I think it's under.
Under. You know, I thought this was crazy too. All right. So when I said 6.5, I was like, everybody's catching up. She can't sustain this level of greatness. I'm also going to take the under. And here's why. Look, I'm looking at her win loss total for the last 3 seasons, PPA, combined doubles, mixed, and singles. She had 7 losses in 2023. She had 10 losses in 2024. And she had 6 losses last year. She's getting better. She's getting more dominant. Like everybody thinks everybody's catching up, but she actually had the most dominant year she's had on tour last year. She went 61-4 in 2024 in singles. I can't believe that she lost 4 times. 59-0 in singles last year. So as much as
I think a
everybody
couple of
thinks,
those singles losses in 2024 were like withdrawals too. I remember looking through it. Like, I looked through all of Pickle Wave's data, and I only found 2, I believe. I found Salome, and then I found Tyra in singles. And I think after she had lost those matches, I believe she withdrew from bronzes, I could be wrong, to get those
Ah,
4 losses. So, like,
well,
that would make that what did you say she had, 10? That'd make that 8?
10 in 2024. Yeah.
That'd make that
So
8, and who knows if she withdrew from other bronzes too that year. But I
yeah, it's
could be wrong
possible.
on that. I was writing something about her before, and I thought I remembered that, but I'm sure somebody can fact check us. And if you find that and you leave a comment, we'll make sure to shout you guys to shout you out in the next episode as well. We're gonna get back on to reading your mean comments, reading your nice comments, reading your funny comments. We won't read your stupid comments unless they're really stupid. Then we'll make fun of you.
Incentivize in every way to leave comments everywhere. All right.
Dude.
Sound sounds like we're both taking the under there. I can't believe it. Do you think she's going to lose in singles this year?
Oh, she's gotta lose in singles, like, but it's
Has
also
to.
like, who does it, right? Somebody gets hot and she has a bad day is really the only way. Um, yes, begrudgingly, I say that, like, yes, for no good reason because she has to. It'd be insane to go 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I mean, Brooke Buckner was so close and kind of had a breakdown and didn't win. Is there some kind of coulda, shoulda, wouldas with her? And obviously, she's the reason why it doesn't happen. But I agree. I just don't think you can win 120 pickleball matches in a row or whatever it is. Like eventually, you have to have a bad day. It has to be windy. Someone gets hot. I don't know what that is. But I think whoever it is that beats her pulls a Tyra Black and then just retires from singles completely, wins the gold, and just never plays single ever again. That's what I would do.
100%. If you do that, you have to. Agree.
Exactly. All right. So, Anna Leigh Waters, the most dominant year yet. And also, we got to figure out how to adjust our stats on Pickle Wave and other places so that withdrawals don't show up on your win-loss record. I think that's an asterisk.
I don't think it was on Pickle Wave, but I think might have been on pickleball.com. Again, this is fuzzy because I was doing this, I think, in the middle of November when I was writing this stuff, so
All right. Zane losing his memory, definitely not the smartest
I
thing
know,
on this
hey,
podcast.
stop Alzheimer's now. It's real close to home.
Okay. All right. Perfect. All right. So that concludes yearly over-under bets.
All right, so Nico, tell me about your experience now that you're on the team with your Maui Nui, because those sticks that I've had, they lasted in my house. First off, you guys gotta send me a little bit more because I'm out. Those sticks lasted like a week, less.
Yeah, I got mine like 48 hours ago, and I had to hide them in my room. So I got like 6 of those like the venison sticks, right? So it's like a 2-pack, 6 each, and it's literally the best tasting like stick of meat adjacent venison. I mean, I'm not like
Pause.
classy enough. I'm not classy enough to partake in venison all the time, but there's definitely a difference between this and like a Slim Jim, and like it's a night and day. Like I feel disgusting when I eat a Slim Jim, and this I was like, not only do I feel healthy, like there's like some kind of superpower, but
Our
it tastes
sponsors,
incredible.
our sponsors are gonna love the fact that you think it's better than a Slim Jim. Figure something else out to say, Nico. What?
You know,
It's better than getting shot too.
it is, yes, exactly, yes. Would eat this in dire circumstances. No, it's great. Literally every single person in my family, and as people pointed out, I have a big family, have asked me for one of the beef sticks, or sorry, one of the stick starter pack sticks. Venison.
Yeah,
Remember
that's the
that.
best part is that it's not beef, right? It's a little bit leaner, which means a little bit fewer calories than your normal beef sticks as well. And so, yeah, honestly, I was gonna say that'd be great for your 55 or what was your goal? 56 and 20.
Yeah, it's 55 to 55. So trying to get to become a 5'5" duper and lose 55 pounds so that I can be a little bit more mobile on the court. And hey, this is funny. I did not plan this, but each one of those sticks is 55 calories. So
Oh,
that is a sign from God. Um these things are going to help me. And they're fantastic. I got a couple different flavors, 55 calories, I think like 10 grams of protein, almost no fat, almost no sugar. And I promise you, like if you have one, you will taste the difference, right? Like it's you think Zane and Nico are bullshitting you into trying these different things, but no, it literally one bite you'll be like, okay, they're right. I owe them an apology, and I'll probably never say anything mean about them again. And Zane, that once again, the deal with Maui Nui is if you put 5 of the stick starter packs in your cart, you get one free. And stick starter pack is like the biggest tongue twister. Last time I mentioned this, I had to like
Starter
record
pack.
64 times because I could not say stick starter pack like 3 times in a row. But they're fantastic. 6 sticks in one pack, so you're getting like 30 plus and a good deal when you use the code the dink, or you go Maui Nui venison.com/the dink.
Perfect. Now, is that still going to help you with your weight loss if you eat the whole pack?
If I eat the whole pack, I'm trying to eat like 1 a day, and definitely it's like a reward. So I've had like 3 today, but that's still only 165 calories, 30 grams of protein. And apparently I need to eat like my body weight in pounds in protein. So I cannot get enough protein. So I think honestly, you could probably eat unlimited of these and you'll never gain weight. I don't know if that's a proven fact, but I'm going to go ahead and say Dr. Nico says that.
Yeah, the good news too is like I do find them they're equally as filling as some of the other sticks out there, but yeah, obviously a little bit less calorie dense, which is nice. So yeah, Maui Nui, great stuff, amazing snack. Especially when you play pickleball for like 3-4 hours at a time, you got to re-up some of that protein, some of those calories. So
Amazing snack. And Zane looking healthy, Nico getting healthier, Macho Man Randy Savage, former spokesman of Slim Jim, dead. So
so I guess the
These will keep you
takeaway
alive.
here from this is eat Maui Nui or you'll die.
Or you'll die. Yeah, exactly. I'm not.
Yeah.
There's no evidence, but I think that's exactly the case.
Yeah, we really wilded out with this one. Yeah. We really did.
All right, so moving on to Masters preview, first tournament of the year. My favorite tournament for personal reasons. I love kind of like the all white vibe. I like the grass tennis courts in the background. The venue, everything is pretty cool. I wish it was a little bit warmer, but great tournament all in all. So Zane, I'll have to tell you before we jump into the Masters preview. Just quick shout out to Gino the Righty, number 1 enemy of the pod, but so Gino, 2 years ago, he does the pro qualifiers for the first and only time in his entire career, qualifies in mixed doubles and plays Gabe Tardio, first round mixed doubles of the Masters. And we got to throw like a clip on here. It's fantastic, Zane. So Zane, just to tee this up here, I actually posted this point on Instagram as like a guess my duper. This is like before like everybody knew that Gabe Tardio was like a world beater. And it's funny, like maybe like 1 in every like 20 comments was like, oh, that's Gabe Tardio actually. So definitely a 6'5", but everybody else was like, oh, that's a 4'5" where I'm from in Florida. But check this out. Mixed doubles, first round, Gino the Righty. Looks like he's playing 2-on-1. Don't even have Mary Brasha in frame. The entire point.
Oh, there she is. I saw
There
her like. Oh my goodness. How is your brother this much more athletic than you? That's the only thing I took away from that clip. That is the only thing I took away from this clip.
I'm so glad I shared that. Yeah. He honestly, Gino is like a paragon of fitness. It's crazy. But yeah, I mean, he played that match. They ended up losing like 11-3, 11-0, and then basically retired from pro pickleball. So he is a pro pickleball player, maybe in his bio or whatnot. But it was when I first realized how much better pro pickleball players are than like everybody else in the world. Like this much better. Like, and it's crazy because like he qualified. He's going to play like the next day. And we're like going through game plan strategy. Like, I can't believe we did this. Like, we'd like spend 45 minutes talking about how we could like piece up Gabe Tardio, And after literally 30 seconds, it was like, okay, like I should probably turn this video off so nobody sees this. It's impossible. But
I mean, he's actually got like, I think some pretty good game. I mean, Gabe's game was better and is better. But I mean, that was impressive. I did not think you guys had that athletic gene.
Yeah, we don't.
Or he does.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, so that's like my master's experience, and so Haven't been in the last couple of years, but loved the event. And so, Zane, what I want to do before we jump into the Masters is I want to do a blind ranking with you on pickleball tournaments. We know my feelings about the Masters, near and dear to my heart. But I have 5 pickleball tournaments for you to blind rank. You ready?
Let's do it.
All right.
Wait,
So the first one,
explain the blind. I can explain the blind ranking
oh,
concept because we skipped out on this for a little while, right? So the blind ranking is Nico's come up with something, and I try to make the best list possible based on the stuff that Nico says, and I don't know what comes next. So that's the general premise here.
yes. And if you have never heard of a blind ranking before, I feel sorry for you. Like you've been living under a rock. But
I
thank you,
agree.
Zane, for the explanation.
Thomas didn't know. Thomas didn't know what a blind ranking was the first time. So yeah,
That's why Thomas isn't here right now. Um, all right. So blind ranking pickleball tournaments here. All right. And we're going to start number 1 with the Masters. We're doing 5, 1 through 5.
I gotta go 2, because the way these blind ranking works is if you're a good blind ranker, you throw in some crappy ones too. So like I'm expecting there to be like, you know, APP Houston, PPA Tucson or something, or you know, some of these tournaments from a couple of years ago that just we needed to get the bill on. So I'm going 2.
I'll tell you what. I have not thrown in any APP events, and I don't have a specific tournament. Like I did not ever say like World's Nationals 2023 no bathrooms. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, good.
but all right. So we got Masters at 2. All right. Number 2, and maybe this is a cop out, but I'm saying PPA Asia. Putting that whole thing as one tournament. You get that as one tournament. Where does that go?
Like
Because I don't even know the names of all of them.
The 2 of the ones that I went to, Kuala Lumpur
Yes.
and shit. I mean, I don't know how they could outdo the previous year, so I'll put that at 3.
3.
Because those were, I mean, like Vietnam was probably my favorite pickleball event ever. That's number 1. But like standing, every single time, I don't know. I'll put that at 3.
Okay. All right. I like it. So we got Masters at 2, PPA Asia at 3. Number 3, we have Worlds.
Oh, okay. I'll catch some crap for this, but hot take, like Worlds is not my favorite. Like I kind of like those, maybe a little bit smaller venues. There's a lot going on, but a lot going on means, it's sometimes can be kind of a pain to get in and out of there. I like convenience. I like ease. I like to live a life of privilege, where I get to just park in the parking lot. And so
No shuttles for this
you know
guy.
what? A shuttle
Regular guy, Zane Avertil.
a shuttle
No
is
shuttles.
just always gonna drop the ranking down. So I'm gonna put Worlds at 4.
Worlds at 4. Okay. All right. So Zane is just holding out on 1 and 5. We have 1 and 5 left.
And that's just not a spot that you want to be in a blind ranking where you have 1 and 5 left.
We're going to see how you like this. All right. The next one I have is PPA Las Vegas Convention Center.
Oh,
So
that's
whether that be Fontainebleau, Mandalay Bay,
easy 5.
easy 5.
Honestly, those aren't even that bad. Like I kind of like because you can stay there, you can go down, but the courts are just bad in a convention center.
All right. So we got PPA Convention Center 5. I think you're going to like this. I think you might have actually nailed this shit. Number 5 is Beer City Open. Did you hit a perfect list? Shit.
Let's go,
Uh-oh.
baby. That's a perfect list right there. Easily perfect list. 1, Beer City. 2, Masters. 3, Vietnam. 4, Worlds. 5, Vegas Convention Center. Take that to the bank. That's a perfect list.
I don't know if that says more about you or more about me. I got to make this harder next time. Wow. That's incredible.
Let me give you a blind ranking.
Oh,
We
gosh.
are going
All right.
to blind rank since I know how familiar you are with all of the other content creators' content, wink, wink, because you just rip it all off. I am going to have you blind rank other content creators.
I'm ready. I got it. I'm ready to offend some people.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're ready now. All right, number 1, or the first one, we will go Sean Munoz.
Sean. All right. I'm going to go because I'm just like I have to start in the middle. I probably would have put whoever this person was at 3, unless it was Chris Callie, I would have put at 5. But Sean, I'm going to put at 3.
Okay, Sean
And
at
I like the
3.
fact that it sounds like you are making this list off the top of your head.
That's exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay.
Designed to screw me. All right.
All right. We've got Fit to Serve, Evan Slaughter.
Fit to Serve. Okay, so hot take for me is I find his stuff funny, but it doesn't hit for me. Like I don't know. It might be too much of the same. Maybe it's just like I never liked Adam Sandler growing up, and I feel like he's
What is
like
wrong?
our
How did you
pickleball.
never like Adam Sandler growing up? What type of childhood did you have?
I don't know. This is something that my dad instilled in me. Like
With a
this
belt?
is, my minority parent, Hispanic, didn't like the silly humor, and so the movies we watched were so much more serious growing up.
Yeah. So who do you
but
like? Kevin Spacey? Like what?
yeah, all I could do was watch Stand and Deliver repeatedly as a kid
Oh
to
my
learn how to do
goodness.
calculus. But
Wow.
so I'm going to put Fit to Serve at 4.
Okay. We'll go Tanner Tomasi.
Tanner Tomasi. Okay. Um,
Come on, let's make this happen in less than 60 seconds, Nico.
all right, I'm putting Tanner. I'll put Tanner at 2. I'll put Tanner at 2 because I think you are creating this list to screw me.
I am, and I've got
but he's like the most beloved person on pickleball content, and he does a great job. So I'll put him at 2.
Okay, so we also have 1 and 5 left.
1 and 5. This is how you play the game.
1 and 5. Oh, and you are, you're in for a treat.
Oh, I can't wait.
We've got Chris Callie.
Chris Callie. So here's the thing. I'm putting Chris at 5, not just because he hates me and my content and I have a vendetta
I mean, that's a
against
fair
Chris.
enough reason.
Yeah. Not just that reason, but he also doesn't really create a lot of short form content, which is kind of where I'm ranking all of this. So he does YouTube videos. He invited me on Family Feud, which was fantastic. So I should probably put him at 1. So check that episode out when it comes. But I'm gonna put Chris Callie at 5. I think he is the worst, and so does everybody who banned his show. So I just want to make sure that you and I have the same public enemy. Everybody that hates you is because they love Chris Callie and might as well hate me too.
No, I like Chris Callie. I don't know what's your problem is. You guys, I do not stand with everything that Nico says. Like, I can have my own opinions on this show. I have had my own opinions. I think Nico's opinions are almost always wrong. And I like Chris Callie. In fact, he took our idea of Hook of the Week and ran with it. So I think that is brutal. But your number 1 is Sydney Steinecker, Caffeinated and Petty. I hope you like your list.
I could have picked a better list myself. Sydney, the number 1 account, followed by Jimmy Miller. Everything she says is great. I'm proud that she's number 1 on my list. I also love caffeine, so good for her. And also, shout out to Sydney for actually doing some cool stuff in the pickleball space with all of her events. Like, it looks like a rager mixed with pickleball is awesome. So
I actually I want to see footage of Project P. All right, she's always posting about Project P. I don't think I've seen actual footage of Project P. Like,
every time I hear about Project P, I just think about that movie. I forget what it's called. Maybe it's called Project X. The movie that it's like the end of the world weird zombie
based. Well, there's Project X, and then there's
maybe it's not zombie. It's not zombie. It's like Michael Cera and Seth Rogen. Is that the one? They're go to a party. You seen that? Maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. I don't know what it's called. What are you thinking of?
This Is the End.
This Is the End. Yeah. That's the one. That's the movie that I'm thinking of. Every time I think about Project P, I think of This Is the End for some reason. I don't know why. I just think it's just some wild experience.
Yeah,
that I've never been invited to and probably never will be.
All right, where do we want to go from here? The world is our
right.
Where do we want to go from here? You did bring up Jimmy Miller, and this is an off-topic deal, real quick. Jimmy had a very interesting tweet today, as he so often does. Mm-hmm. He mentioned, let me read this real quick. Sorry, I have Jimmy's tweets roasting you pulled up. I have to scroll down a little while to find what I'm looking for. I've heard some rumors from a couple of reliable sources that the APP lost about $8 to $9 million last year. They canceled all of their events for Q1, and they're currently working on raising money to hopefully have a season later in the year. My question is, I don't find the question as relevant. It's basically asking about PPA challengers. I find the APP deal interesting, and I did a little bit of independent journalism and researching. Um, and it seems like they had a Daytona event on the calendar for Q1 that got canceled, but then they added a couple of events in Kuala Lumpur and Japan. However, it sounds like those simply are using an APP name and are not necessarily operated by the APP. This is just all few things that I've seen in the last little bit of time, but I guess my question for you is, do you think the APP is cooked?
I think as it currently is structured, yes. I, I've always thought that there's too much like pro pickleball adjacent leagues and whatnot, and not enough star power, right? And so to me, I feel like the APP, if they want to restructure and become like the number one place for players to play without pros, I think that they will be fine. I think they'll make plenty of money running tournament by tournament by tournament with 1,200 people every single time. And I think they do a pretty good job of running tournaments for players. I'm sure that if you also ask people like which tournament is better run from a player perspective, a lot of people will say APP over PPA. But I don't think anybody is going to APP to watch the pros. I don't. So like, whether it be Susanna Barr or Jill Braverman or whoever, like they're fantastic players, but it's not the same as PPA. So I think that they need to probably just drop the pro component. Maybe you run like Moneyball or something, but that's what I would do if I was APP.
Yeah, I just, I don't know what pro is necessarily adding for them, right? Like if
Yeah.
it's something that does generate more signups, then sure, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, like I don't know. It's interesting. I don't think actually losing money is a crazy deal. Like I would be surprised if the UPA doesn't lose more money than that, right? But however, it's we're in startup mode. Like companies lose money and you fund from investors, right? Like it's about taking market share and whatnot. Although I will say it does seem to me like the UPA is much more of like a growth model, like invest, spend a lot, grow the game. We've got $33 million in player salaries, so it's no surprise that they lose some money, right? But the APP seems to me like they were mostly attempting to just cash flow everything, right? And so if your model is actually trying to be cash flow your business, right, and grow based on what you earn, but you are taking losses, that's where that gets really tough.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, like the UPA isn't they're like DoorDash, right? Like, as you mentioned, they're just, they may be losing money hand over fist for 5, 10 years or whatever. But in the end, they're accumulating enough assets and star power to where their goal is turn a corner, media rights deal, TV, etc., and they will have the quality product that APP doesn't. So like if APP for right now they can't keep pros, right? Like every pro once they get to a certain level goes to UPA, PPA, MLP. So I don't think there's any, media rights deal in their future. They just have to pay to do ESPN occasionally or whatever they're doing. So I don't think there's a way for them to become financially viable unless they remove pros. And I think that eventually PPA is going to, whether you love it or hate it, it's kind of the evil empire that is going to be successful because they have every piece of star power in the game.
Yeah, yeah, interesting. Well, it'll be interesting to see if more information comes out about that, right? Like it's interesting, but right now it is, I guess, still part of the rumor mill. But I do think it's good for some element of competition, right? Like it's good, and I don't think at least in the pro level that the APP has been competition for UPA for a little bit of time. But it's always good to have more people. Now there's international competition, right? They created that like global alliance thing with a bunch of different independent
Yeah.
tournament organizers, but yeah, I just don't think it's generally good for pickleball for organizations to be failing if they are failing. So,
Yeah. Hey, and you know what? I mean, honestly, I wish I could snap my fingers and have people like, Jack Monroe or Jill Braverman as part of the PPA. Like, I think it's more fun for everybody to have those people all in one spot. And I think at this point, like some of those players, you know, let's say like Aiden Shank or something like that, who's, consistently kind of like in the top 3, top 5. Like, I'd rather just see them grind out the round of 64 and make that more exciting in PPA eliminate that pro space and grow PPA Challenger. Obviously, that's not what the APP wants to hear, but I think if there were 3 levels where it's, kind of like pro, challenger, and then you just have, people playing 5-0, I would prefer that, because right now, basically in PPA, if you see like, if you're a 5-0 player, you just play pro qualifiers, right? And it becomes the most expensive tournament there is, which is why I don't play tournaments anymore, or at least I don't play a ton, because I don't necessarily like playing 5-0, and my kind of contemporaries are playing
I
pro
bet you
qualifiers,
love playing
where I
5.
got to pay $500.
Yeah, something tells me you wouldn't like 5-0.
Dude, I am like a repeated silver medalist, PPA 5-0, but I never broke through with gold. But my point is just that like all the good players that should be playing 5-0 are trying to do pro qualifiers, and they're not that good. And it's congratulations for the PPA for making 3 times as much money on them. But I would rather see a regular 5-0 division, PPA qualifier or challenger, and then the pro division. So
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right, let's move on to Pickleball Court. Am I the asshole? And so during this week, we had a very organic Am I the asshole conversation where I put out this piece of content, and why don't we just watch it here?
Never have your elbow tucked into your body.
Oh boy.
What we're gonna do is take this elbow, pick it up, and keep that elbow in front of the plane of the body.
Yeah, you're gonna get yourself chicken winged every single time if you do this.
I'm always gonna try to keep that elbow in front of that plane and raised up. Once this elbow...
I mean, he's not wrong if it's a backhand, but from this position, you're just totally committed to hitting a backhand. If the ball goes anywhere other than right at you, you're screwed. He uses Gabe Tardio as an example, but Gabe plays the right side of the court with Ben Johns. He only ever has to hit backhands because Ben literally covers everything else. And Gabe has more flexible wrists and shoulders than anybody else I've ever seen. Copying him is a great way to hurt yourself. So instead of doing this, I think you should emulate what Ben Johns actually does and what pretty much all the other top players are doing. Keep that elbow in initially so that you can stay compact and hit both forehands and backhands. Once you see that the ball comes to the body, yeah, you can raise your elbow up and counter, but doing that ahead of time is a surefire way to get yourself chicken winged time and time again.
So, Nico, am I the asshole here?
Zane, absolutely 100%.
Good.
I told you when you sent this to me, it's like, you are the asshole, but you have to own it. Like, there's no other way around this. This is fantastic content, and it's something that everybody needs to see. But the lane that this video plays is pot stirrer, asshole, disguised as like the evangelist, or I don't know what the right word is. You're disguising this very thinly as, oh, I'm doing everybody a favor, but in reality, it's like the perfect opportunity to shit on some content creators. I think you're doing people a solid, and I think in this video, if you look at his original comments, they're like, this doesn't make sense. I don't understand. This doesn't make sense, and that's like pre-Zane roast.
I didn't see that.
But Zane, look, here's the thing: is BK is like a beloved instructor. I think that if you are going to call instructors out as a pro who is obviously more famous or more respected, better pickleball player, and you are going to be the asshole to the little guy, you might as well swing big, and you got to shoot for Tanner Tomasi next video. After that, we're going Kyle Kazuda, Johnson Cola, your guy,
You're
Jack
saying
Monroe.
I'm punching down. You're saying
I'm saying you're punching down. I'm saying this guy can't defend himself. Like, if you take one of my coaching videos and you shit on it, like, that's like not fair, right? That's like the 5-0 going sandbagging in a 3-0
tournament. You shouldn't
tournament.
be playing in my social media space then. If you can't handle the heat. So I agree with you. I am the asshole, right? Like, it's not a nice thing to do.
We knew this for a long time,
right?
but,
Yeah, no, it's all good. It wasn't a nice thing, I guess, to do. I could have just been like, I could have just said, wow, great advice, and then, go my merry way. However, I saw this, and I saw it was, going out to a lot of people and causing a lot of confusion. And I'm like, well, I feel like a lot of people might have their game screwed up if they listened to this advice. Now, I have also been informed that there was more context to the social media clip that went out. I guess there's a long form video that I haven't seen on this. So maybe there's more context surrounding it, but the clip itself was just, I think, not good advice for most people to. So, like, I guess I'm an asshole for calling him out, but I think I'm overall net positive for helping get people the correct pickleball advice. So
I mean, your views and your likes are definitely net positive for this, which is, I think, what we're going for here. No, but Zane, here's the question: is
you're the asshole. Nico, I think you're the asshole.
oh, for sure. I mean, two
That's
peas.
why we get along with each other. We're just two assholes in a pod.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Two assholes from a pod. We're gonna rename the podcast. That's the title of this episode. So the question though, Zane, is you're doing everybody a favor here, and we all appreciate this work. You know, as they say, you know, Batman, the hero we need, not the hero we deserve. But if I'm on the rec courts and I hear somebody give another person bad advice, should I jump in and correct them? Or should I just sit there and go, okay, I'm just going to like let this happen? Or should I be the asshole in rec and correct it right on the spot?
Oh, that's an interesting question. Is it different in person versus well, I would say kind of no, right? I think that in person, right, people can, on social media, they can choose to watch my thing or they can not choose to watch my thing, right? But in person, you are inserting yourself into their life, right? You are actually approaching them and you're saying, here, you have to take this, right? Whereas on social media, it's just there. You can look at it if you want, or you can scroll past it. Right.
Please tell this to Jimmy Miller, because apparently he thinks that he has to watch every piece of content that I produce. He literally says, Nico is injecting himself in my life, and I cannot stop watching every piece of freaking content. So, one, Zane, thank you for clarifying. Social media content can be consumed in any way that you want. You can scroll away. You can unfollow. But in person, going back to your fantastic point here. Go ahead, Zane. Sorry.
No, I would say I think it's slightly different, right? That person might be paying for a lesson or whatever. Like you don't know their relationship, like, and so yeah, I would say you are interjecting yourself into that. Whereas, you know, on social media, you put something out there, people can choose whether to watch it or whether not to watch it.
Yeah. And I'm sure you have a little bit more reserve and tact in person, Zane. I can only imagine. I know that you run a bunch of clinics. Like as we mentioned, I went 6 hours round trip to see Zane in Lake Tahoe.
I thought it was each way.
6 hours. Oh, sorry, 6 hours each way. You're right. I flew down there, and you know there's a club pro that's also part of the clinic, right? That signs you up, or whatever. And I'm honestly spacing on his name right now. Nick, I think actually, good player, and I'm sure he gave good advice, right? But you have all these club pros every single time helping you with these different clinics, and I'm sure they probably give wrong advice because they're all 5-0 pickleball players that lots of times don't know what the hell they're talking about. Not saying that's Nick, but
yeah. Well,
do you find yourself correcting those people?
a lot of them come back. You know, a lot of them come back from tennis, right? And like they're teaching things in a tennis way, and so no, like in those situations, I do try to, you know, I might give them a comment, like, you know, on the side, like, but I generally tee them up pretty good. So it's not like a thing that happens very frequently. But if I see something, I'll say it, right? Like I'll mention it. So
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
I mean, the goal is to get people the right advice, then the best advice. So
Exactly. That's what we're doing here with the social clips as well. So it's nothing personal, BK.
I'm sure BK is a good dude. I mean, like honestly, the advice was like good advice for a very situational time. I think the clip itself was just too broad, essentially. So
yeah, I took his advice and I actually implemented it in gameplay, and your advice to try and hit down on ball. So yeah, I'm glad. The whole goal is not to discourage content, but to make sure that we have the right information. So awesome.
yay!
All right. So now the one question though that I have, you know, I want everybody else to answer. You know, this is my opinion. As we know, two assholes in a pod, but I want to know from everybody else.
Two assholes.
Is Zane the asshole in this situation? Or do we have more in our pod? Or is he justified in correcting in a very public manner somebody who can't immediately defend themselves and is not within a duper point of Zane? So you let us know.
Let us know.
I mean, you don't have to even be kind, all right? And we'll read these comments, as we said, next episode.
I am an asshole, but not necessarily wrong about it. I think that's the stance that I'm going to take. The nice thing would have been to not do that, but is the good thing to not do that? A little moral debate for you guys in the YouTube comments. Don't call
That's
it.
right. That's something I always tell my kids is, you can be, you don't always have to be right. You can just let it happen and just shut up. Like Zane could also just let this happen and not have to be right, but he chose to be right and he's an asshole. All right.
Yep. Speaking of the comments, let's take a look at some of the comments from last episode. What do you say? I mean, we already read a good
more.
amount of the hate comments, but there really actually were some nice comments for you, Nico.
Oh, good.
Like one maybe.
What? There's 124 comments on that YouTube video. Can you find one positive?
Oh, we do have one. We have the only reason I knew about this podcast is because Nico the Lefty said I should check it out. Glad to see my guy Nico killing it. Great episode. That was Darren W. Lewis. We got another one. Nico is goated. When talking about how much Anna Leigh would move paddles compared to paddle reviewers, he sounded as chronically online as the rest of the community.
People don't understand. Like, hey, yes, I don't write articles all the time, but I watch like an unhealthy amount of pro pickleball, and I'm on my screen time is like 15 hours. All right, so that's
Okay.
like the recipe for success for someone you want on this pod. So
Fair enough.
not just a random you found from the street.
We also got a lot of comments on the S curve, and I am going to stand by the fact that I think the S curve needs a rebrand because it's just a sideways S. An S goes from top to bottom. This S curve goes from left to right. Who makes an S from left to right? So, Pat KP 1952, so I'm getting corrected by a fucking 70-year-old here. An S curve is a typical graph within product sales. Intro starts climb, followed by peak, and then decline unless there's innovation to push the curve up again. Again, I kind of understand that, but that goes like this. I'm not arguing the curve. I'm arguing the damn naming of the curve, all right?
I think his point is that you've never heard of it before. So I saw a ton of comments that were like, how's this MBA Thomas guy not ever heard of an S curve? And so, it's always great when your education comes to bite you in the ass and they throw it in your face.
Yeah, no,
so
we're fake. We both went to South Harmon Institute of Technology. Another great movie.
You guys are shit sandwiches, that's for sure.
That was a great movie. I forgot about that movie.
It was a good movie. Was that?
Graduated or Accepted? It was Accepted.
Accepted.
Phenomenal movie. I got to go watch that one again. I forgot about that one. So Gino the Righty says, for it to be a true beef, I expect merch. Come get your brother, dude. What is he talking about?
I think he wants the 3-5 shirt, but Gino the Righty style. I don't know what we would do. We got to think about it.
All right. Well, yeah, I don't know what to say about that one. Come get your brother. Janet Adams identified, if you're looking for a clip for Instagram, definitely the X curve explanation. The expressions on Thomas and Zane's face when Nico says PB growth reached an S curve. Yeah. Shout out. We should have given her credit.
That's right. Everybody loved the S curve. I couldn't believe it when they were like, we should clip the S curve. I was like, I don't think anybody cares about this. No, that's what they cared about the most.
We love
corporate
the S
jargon.
curve.
NBA speak.
Daniela Johnson 40 says, Nico, saying no is not wrong. Don't listen to 2.5 Thomas. So this is in reference to like saying no to the person coming on your court from last week's episode. Nico said, I came down on Nico is not the asshole. Thomas thought that Nico was kind of the asshole. And Danielle Johnson says, don't listen to 2.5 Thomas.
Can you read?
I'm just looking for good ones. You guys leave crappy comments. I got to keep scrolling, but don't stop. Oh, this is a great one. How did I not see this one when I was reading the tweets earlier on, or the comments? The only reason why I got interested in Nico is I thought he's Jack Black's stunt double in Nacho Libre. I was disappointed when he shaved.
Dude, oh my God. There was one person that on the comments said that I needed to bring the beard back. And unfortunately, I can't really grow a beard. This is about as close as I can get. But when my hair was long, 6 months ago before I cut it, literally every single post had to have at least 50 comments of like, is this Jack Black? Is this Nacho Libre? I didn't know Pablo Escobar was still alive. My favorite is, this looks like Ron Jeremy. Mario Brothers working hard in that pickleball point. But Nacho Libre repeatedly over and over. And I've never even seen the movie. So, but
Wow, how do you get that many comments on your YouTube videos or your videos and you not go watch the video or the movie?
Yeah. I think I've like basically lived vicariously through everybody else's sending me different quotes. So I feel like I know the movie, and when people like say something, I just kind of laugh and then I quote a line that I've heard repeatedly. But yeah, it might be on my to-do list. Watch
Fair
Nacho Libre.
enough. All right, there were a bunch more other great comments, but guys, we're gonna read many more of these. We're gonna read our favorite ones every week. So appreciate everybody that is that's on there commenting. And one last thing, Nico, let the people know how they can submit clips for Guess My Duper, because that's another thing that we want to make great again.
Yeah, so we're gonna do Guess My Duper hopefully every episode. It's a highlight of mine, and I hope that the more that we do, the more people can forget about my gameplay. So if you have clips, or if you want to be the Guess My Duper contestant candidate roast experience, or uh, DM me. I'm Nico the Lefty on Instagram. You can find me on TikTok or Twitter as well. Send me clips of your footage. You can send me a link to a clip from your socials, or you can email it to me. My email's in my Instagram bio. So you can send me an email at nicothelefty@gmail.com. You can just DM me at Instagram or TikTok, and we'll source some clips. And I'm not going to say I can get back to every single person, but feel free. I try my best to at least respond and acknowledge, and we'll try and get you lined up. And then we'll figure out if you don't have the perfect clip right then, we'll just tell you what we need. We need probably like a minute of footage to play to give us enough of an idea of how well you play or how well you don't play. And we'll go
And
from
I'd
there.
say
And yeah.
bonus points for some fun stuff happening in these. Somebody punches somebody afterwards, somebody throws their paddle, somebody, you know, trips. Bonus points for that. We're not above that type of stuff here. And also make sure to actually send a link to your duper profile too, so we can independently verify your duper. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure Thomas fudges that 4 from a 3 to a 4 in his duper. They
Using Photoshop.
I've
That's what he learned
so we
in
would love
school.
to, it's like trust but verify with you guys, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, funny stuff. And if you want to send videos of your friend playing that you want to roast online as well, we'll take those and then just communicate with them, and get those up. Zane. Honestly, as you mentioned, the uh, the funnier the better. I still think my favorite moment of you analyzing a clip was when Ash Pickleball just sent not even a clip, just a picture of her hitting a dink, and your actual response was literally, "You look. This is exactly what my dog looks like before he's about to throw up."
I forgot about that. So, I forgot about that. Wait, we gotta find that for this. We have to throw this on on here.
It was the great. I don't even know what a dog looks like right before they're about to throw up, but I can never unsee that image from Ash Pickleball.
It's like you got like the whole like back arched over a little bit. Like, yeah, I think that's the thing. Shoulders are very forward. Um, yeah. So
Wow,
that's what a dog looks like when they're about to throw up. You can see it in their eyes too. There's a look of fear, just like when she was about to hit that dink.
total fear. Oh boy,
Oh boy. We love you, Ash Ash.
never change. Send us video clips, and we will absolutely. You are a lock for Guess My Duper for sure.
Well, that's episode 2 of PicklePod 2.0. Hope you
Two assholes
enjoyed
in a
it.
pod.
And if you didn't, just keep saying that you hate Nico. PicklePod.
Out.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, rather had